Ladies and gentlemen, today we will be playing a country. Now that I've sufficiently started a comment war, today I will be taking on Israel. I was looking at who to play for my first ever sandbox of Supreme Ruler 2030. I knew it had to be someone higher GDP, at least above average, because this game right now has weird balancing issues around low GDP nations, and so the world, the real world, gave me the inspiration I needed. It told me who to play, and it told me to play Israel. So, without any further ado, we'll play on, I guess, low world volatility. I assume these are going to work the same as SRU, and this is like the closest to reality I can really get. So, 2023 world, that's what we're doing, even though it's 2030. We're here, we're Israel, and do we start with like little to no debt? We have debt, it's just not considered a lot, and yeah, I definitely say that's not a lot, although we're a very tiny nation. We have not even 10 million population, but we have almost all of the Jews in the world. I've come a long way with my knowledge of the world since I played Israel in my Geopolitical Simulator 4 series. We are a nation so tiny that we import almost everything that we need. Just as a default, we have almost no natural resources. We are dependent on the world market for pretty much everything. However, we are also a nation that hits above our weight class. Like, the one thing we have going for us is we make enough rubber and we make enough indie goods. We have almost no of anything. We rely on mid-good factories and mid-sized everything, because we're just that tiny. Petrol small. What about coal? Coal small? Although, except for power, we seem to have decent sized things. And are we using entirely petrol power? I think we are. Yep, that can be confirmed in the supply chain. We're pretty much using entirely petrol power while making no oil. So hopefully our GDP is high enough to sustain the fact that we're going to be importing everything at the start here. Start out with a 68% credit rating. But our debt is very, very tiny overall per our GDP, and honestly, I feel like it's so low that we could probably solve it. So, we're not just here to play Israel because Israel in real life, right? I mean, we can't even simulate that conflict because the game doesn't even start Gaza out as being an independent anything. It's just this. It's just a loyalty thing. And how did they actually handle this? Loyalty. Okay, they have a couple spots. They have the West Bank and Gaza, but they're simulated by loyalty of Palestine. Just one unanimous Palestine loyalty that is under ours, which apparently has low loyalty. Yeah, that's pretty low, 28%. They didn't really add a lot of ways to interact with loyalty, so this isn't a lot I can do to raise loyalty or make people like me, or anything like that, unfortunately. So if we're not able to take Israel and reenact or take on the challenges they're facing today, sort of, we need to set our own goals for ourselves. And I don't know what will be the end goal of this playthrough, assuming everything goes and works out and it's not somehow a buggy mess. But my idea is we will play Israel. We're going to try to expand, gain resources that we can use so that we're not reliant on imports, build up our military, which is okay for our size, but like, what is it like compared to our neighbors? Well, okay, Jordan, not that great. We have more production than Egypt. That's funny. Well, let me tell you, Israel's probably going to be majority Muslim by the time I get done with it. So, to get our country started here, I've gone ahead and gone through pretty much everything that we have. First note is that for naval designs, I'm actually not going to produce anything. In fact, I'll actually just go over to the hex that has this stuff. Oh god, this right-click menu is so much harder to navigate than it was in SRU. Where's the facilities? But oh god, it's at the top now. Okay, we're going to turn off naval production. How do I do that on this? Oh, it's so different. Deactivate. All the buttons are different. We're going to turn off the naval production that we have. And that should update once we actually unpause, because we're not going to make anything naval. The only thing we really have is a civilian cargo. We had some patrol boats, but in my opinion, all of our patrol boats were crap. So I just kind of excluded every single one of them. Missiles, I will be leaving mostly untouched. We're just going to pump out the missiles we already have, which is not a lot. It's mostly air or land launched missiles. We are probably never going to use these nukes. I'm making sure we're not making anything nuclear. We have 6 missile production. It's like what we have the most of. Israel's really big on missiles. Then we go to air. We only have 2 air productions. Right now, we only have 3 things to make. The Devora, a helicopter that we started with, so we're going to make that. A multi-role plane, we have that, and we're going to make it. And the E-Hunter, we had a lot of patrol planes and drones, and I've narrowed all of them down to just being this one drone. And the reason I did that is because it is the cheapest and most efficient option. The range is small that it can detect. However, it's... Look at what we have here. We don't have to see that fucking far. So 31 million annual maintenance for some of these things were like 100 plus for like similar performance. So I'm going with the most efficient option that we have. However, there will be things in the research queue to kind of go with it, and we'll go over that when we get to it. Look at land. We have 4 production slots, and we have 1 of everything, literally. I've narrowed it down from a giant list. The Nemera Mark II APC is what I went with for our troops. I know I already picked something to replace it. We only had like this and something, the mobile radar. So despite this recon being trash, this is our main recon until we get a new one. The Mark IV Merkava is here, and it's not going anywhere because I didn't find anything we could really replace it with. However, there's tech that can improve it. Anti-tank, all we have is a Humvee with an AT system on top of it. I'm hoping to replace that. AT, we have a gun, a 155 gun. I'm also hoping to replace this, but it's good for now. I think it was our most efficient option. It had the best range of everything we had. We don't have like super far-reaching multiple rocket launcher systems or anything. I wonder why. Air defense, all we have is this Spider, and it's okay. It's all right. I'm hoping to replace it with something though that is actually a little bit older, that has better range and can also hit high air targets, so I have something just more valuable and versatile. But I'll still make these because having that, especially mid-air, but maybe even close air as well, protection in this region of the world will be handy. Well, I'm not going to start building any satellites because the price of these, like 1 billion, even if it is over 90 days. Look at our budget. We're talking like millions. We make over 1 billion. We currently expend not even 2/3, roughly 2/3 of a billion. So that's a lot of money. Sure, that's like 90 days representing 1 day of income. But I want to make sure we really lock down our budget while we're so not self-sufficient in any way, while we then look at potentially expanding towards our weaker neighbors. And definitely I want to see about setting up Iran as like a big boss. Like a regional boss is totally going to be someone like Iran. Iran and Egypt probably are our big regional bosses, and then we'll go from there. So let's look at naval stuff. So I'm researching the naval engineer, of course, because we need it. I don't know why this isn't just something we start with, but here it is. It's been like the first thing we research. We only have 3 research slots at all. This is going to be an escort, I believe. Yes, this is an escort. Look at this fucking thing, man. The LCS-2 Independence. Wow, it looks like a miniature aircraft carrier. It is an escort, and it's one of the best escorts that we could possibly make. This is going to serve the purpose of escort, capital ship, and patrol boat once I get it. Seriously. Because there are no good capital ships I can research right now. There are no good patrol boats I can research right now. And I haven't looked at any foreign designs. And I kind of want to do this as Israel as possible. Now this clearly isn't Israel, but still, it's the one thing I can research that won't take exceptionally long, 47 days, to research and can fill all these roles. Additionally, to complement my 1 surface ship fleet, I have a submarine. We, of course, avoided nuclear submarines because why the fuck would we need the range of a nuclear submarine? No, we don't need the fucking ballistic capability of it. We're Israel. We need something that could patrol the Mediterranean and down here, what is this, the Red Sea, into the Red Sea. And that's pretty much it. That's all we need for naval stuff. So I'm not trying to invest too much into that. Next, the Lynx MRL. This is what I hope to replace our other Arty with. It's actually a little bit newer, in fact. This has a little bit longer range, which with enhanced range will reach out even further. A lot of other stats are a little bit better as well, so I figured we'd get that, because MRLs in 2030 are just fucking crazy, man. Then we have a new supply vehicle to replace our old supply truck. We have armored bridging, because we don't have any bridging. This is our recon to replace our current recon, and it's a giant step up. It's like 30 years newer. Also, this is not that simple. There was also the Nemera Mark II, which can serve as a recon, and I would like it, but we don't have the techs required for it. And my goal is to get a functioning military going as quick as possible without getting stuck in a research queue. Because looking at the map, nobody likes us enough immediately to give us access to a bunch of research. But I'm going to try to maybe go for America first and foremost to get that research drip coming in so that I don't have to invest more heavily into research, because I don't know I'd be able to afford it. Simultaneously, there was also another MRL and MLR. What is the difference? MLR, MRL? I don't know what the name difference is there. But this is a even newer one with even better ranges, but it is another thing locked behind research. I kept it here because I want to make sure we can research it when the time comes, but for now. We had, oh god, our air. Haven't even gotten to our air. Let's keep looking. ATW, Wicked. This is an AT system. It is a worldwide design. It is not special. But our AT is just this fucking Humvee. It's better than the Humvee, and it's cheaper. So I figured, alright, this is one of the few times I will accept a worldwide design. So we are getting that. The Hasida, I am researching this. This is a transport aircraft. This is a high-flying transport aircraft. I actually got rid of all of our current transport aircraft to replace with the Hasida, which is for long-range stuff. It flies like medium in the sky, and then a close-range one, which is more like a helicopter. It's actually just a VTOL, is this Hummingbird. Totally not an Osprey. It's the newest thing, and it may look expensive, but it's cheaper. It's more efficient anyway than a helicopter from the 60s that we had available to us at the beginning. The Iton 8x8, this infantry is what I plan to replace our infantry with. It is just a step up in every way, so I'm definitely excited to get that. The Hagain, this is a new anti-air, better in every single way, but it's a little older, funny enough. Its anti-air is higher and farther, so definitely would want that to keep air dominance over this area, especially because we don't even have interceptors right now. We just have helicopters, multi-role, and like patrol, and that's it. Speaking of, here we have an interceptor, a dedicated interceptor. It's nothing too snazzy, but it's something that we could get. There were 2 tactical bomber options, and I got rid of one of them that was just a normal tactical bomber, as you might imagine, because it was really old. It was worldwide. I didn't want it. Instead, I'm going to save up for, well, save up. I'm going to wait till I get the tech for it. This is just a UAV. This is a drone. It's not able to really defend itself from other planes. In fact, it flies low. It's a close air target, which makes it easier to shoot down. But it has the same otherwise offensive stats, and there's no personnel involved, so no reservists will be lost if we lose it. It has high reaction time. Its price is really not that bad compared to other dedicated tactical bomber solutions, so I figured I'll just go with this one when I can get it. There were tons more multi-role options I could have gone for to replace ours, but honestly ours competes with all of them, if not beats most of them anyway. So we're going to stick with what we have, and then down by patrol, I'm going for that, I have that one drone, right? But I also saved, potentially for later here, a high-flying, not high, more medium air, actual, like, AWACS aircraft here, as you can see. Its price is way higher than those little tiny drones, but its range is, like, fucking 4 times higher. Its range for flight, not recon, is ridiculously higher, so it would be able to go to other theaters. But considering where we're operating out of right now, I figured we don't need this right now. It's too expensive. I don't feel like investing into this right now. So I'll save this, though, in case we need something like this later in the future, once we're not just this tiny little strip of land. Man, this is hilarious. We have one singular consumer goods factory and then a mid. The mid won't really be doing very much. One indie factory, and that's it. No mids, no micros, no nothing. Just one indie goods factory. And that is how we're meeting our current demand. We have 1 military goods factory, 5 mids. The 5 mids are, I guess, important here. That's like half of another one. I'm going to aim to get out of mids as quickly as possible. We don't have any coal to build up. We have a little bit of metal ore to build up. Yo, we better have like amazing supply everywhere. Okay, it's good. It's not perfect, but it's good. It can be improved, certainly. Say, connect this to the road. Don't know why it's not already. This could have an air base, and that would improve things dramatically. You could have air bases at a lot of military bases. That would improve supply dramatically. You know what? Speaking of, how do you build roads again? They moved it. Yeah, here. I was like, what the fuck? Can't find it. We will create a nice little thing there. Everything except that first one is visual, so you can ignore that. And how do I get rid of these? Do not auto-delete. No, I want to auto-delete. No longer receive this topic. There you go. Honestly, our nation is so tiny that I feel like if we had just a single dedicated supply hub, that would probably be enough to just sustain everything that we have, because it's all so tiny and well interconnected. But that's not going to be my main focus at the beginning here. Is not going to be in making one ultra omega supply hub, though it would probably be very possible. Definitely. One of these places, for example, like we have a seaport that's not for military here. Put an airbase right here. That'll get this up to 100% supply, and then it'll spread probably throughout the rest of this pretty well, especially around our main hub. I might consider doing that. I'm gonna scrap 2 of these agricultures and also these 2 right here to make room for other things that we might need more. I'm gonna scrap this seep here because honestly I feel like it's very not needed. If I'm this tiny anyway, I might as well do some micromanaging, which there's a lot of stuff I could surely micromanage here if I wanted to, but I don't actually care to do all that much. Wow, things are spread around really, really weird, that's for sure. Hey, we start with an F-35, some F-15s, F-16s. We have a nice amount of stuff already here. You can see me, I'm gonna try liquidating some light infantry and just like really old, inefficient stuff that we might have early on that we definitely don't really want or need. Because I figure if I find some stuff like this to liquidate, then I can free up some early money to maybe get rid of some of that debt. Even though debt really isn't very important, especially when the amounts are this tiny. I noticed that we can already, I know I just lost that, but we can already pay off a bond, like, right now. We could pay off a bond right fucking now if we wanted to. So, might as well, right? And then let's get some extra money by selling some really outdated stuff that can't be upgraded. Specifically, that cannot be upgraded, because I know if I come in here, if I go down to, like, tanks, we have some older Merkavas. We have Mark II, Mark III Merkavas, and let me see. I forget. There's a way to, yeah, select all Mark II Merkavas, selected unit, and I could tell them to upgrade to, and that would send them maybe to Mark IIIs. I don't know, but definitely I want to get the Merkavas just upgraded because the Merkavas are going to be my primary line for the near future, especially these Mark IVs. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. But yeah, I'm going to find some really outdated stuff like these light infantry to sell. I'm definitely thinking of selling a bunch of these M113s because I don't plan on going to war right off the bat. If I just replace those with these Nemera Mark IIs, that would be more than sufficient. Even when I get my new APC, those are going to hold up really, really well. Unlike a lot of this really old stuff. Alright, so I've made a ton of money by selling a bunch of really outdated stuff. I'm setting everything that can upgrade to upgrade. We have some older APCs that are of the same variant that we make now, just like older. So I set those to upgrade. I'm gonna have all the Merkavas upgrade. We're gonna do that early. I'm gonna repurchase the bonds that are set to renew next month. That should be quick and easy. There you go. Those repurchased, and then the ones for September. There you go. Quick and easy. October. Quick and easy. There you go. 8.4. 8.4. I'll still do some more. Repurchase bonds. And just like that, we've paid off a good chunk of our debt. What was that, 4? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, we just paid off a third of the debt that we had out, which should raise our credit rating. Oh yeah, it's already done it. Raise our credit rating, allow us to take out new debt if we want to pay off the old debt. I did that a lot in older games. It works out pretty well. And we're gonna just do that while we see how our finances settle. So far, our money is landing extraordinarily well. We're doing fine with our money. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna set up one singular hex to produce what oil it can produce. A lot of the oil appears on top of cities, so we're not gonna make it. Otherwise, there's, yeah, literally no other oil we can make in this country. This is 100% of the oil we can make in this country without tearing down cities, and there's really no reason to do that. So we're gonna make 100% of the oil that we could possibly make here. Wow, isn't that just fucking grand? This is why we either need to, you know, expand or get naval engineers and then like maybe sail over towards Spain or something like that. Well, I haven't seen any alerts about a war starting, but apparently a war starts at the very beginning here. Houthi starts out at war with southern Yemen and Yemen. So yeah, these two are allied? Yeah, and fighting this one. So that's going on in the background. Oh, also Ukraine starts out at war with Russia. Oh my god. With an upcoming election, notable debt level, and like no money. So in 2023, there's these wars scripted at the start. They've changed this since I've last done this. That's interesting. Are there any other wars that I'm like missing anywhere? No China invading Taiwan or something? No? No, we don't have that. No, Sudan's at war with the RSF. I don't know what the hell this is, but they're at war. Looks like Sudan's certainly going to win that one. At least, maybe not in real life, whatever it is. I don't know. But in terms of how this game's mechanics work. And I think that might be it. So I might check in on those wars occasionally and see how they go. I guess Rojava and Syria started out at war as well because Syria has taken over Rojava. And again, I haven't seen any pop-ups about war declarations unless that is a reintroduced bug. Because I remember when that was a bug and they fixed it. I assume that war was there from the start. And bam, look at that. Good job, Syria. Now I only have to conquer you to take all that over. Ha 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 ha. Money is still holding firm, and so I'm looking at other things we could maybe do. We don't have like many options at all for things to build. Really. So one of the only things that we can build that we could profit off of really is timber. And it's more selective of a building than agriculture. You could at least build agriculture where there's towns. You cannot build timber where there's towns. So I'm gonna get some timber placed and building because we need to generate, look, but it's the oil too. We need to generate some inflation because our GDP is, or inflation is going down. We want to keep GDP high because that's what's gonna get us by financially in this game. So we're just gonna go around. So literally every single hex that we have that can have timber. We'll probably fill this in with 2 more agriculture at some point. But for now, just placing timber so that we can make more of it so that we can maybe become self-sufficient and export it, or at least pay the lower cost on making it rather than buying it and just have all that money going into our economy. This is less for profit and more specifically for keeping our GDP growing. I'm going to turn that naval production back on because we have received our naval engineers. So I'm going to put that in for continuous build and just start building a bunch of those because that's one thing I can do for oil in the long run here. Let me slow it down while I talk. Is I could turn on the oil map, build naval engineers, and I doubt the AI uses these efficiently. Sail over to Spain, claim what they're not using, sail around Spain, start picking up things that Europe's not using, you know, sail all the way up here, and then just start building a bunch of oil that way. That is an option. But land oil is, of course, going to be the best, and our weakened neighbors are going to be the best to get it from. Oh yeah, and also, I've gone ahead and put garrisons on literally fucking every single hex that we own that has a structure on it. Just so you know. So, we're defended, even if we don't have units out, because I'm currently just handling, like, upgrades, and I think they're almost all done. This all that's left is just turning some tanks into Merkavas. And then that should be everything, but if I've missed anything, maybe I'll catch it. I haven't really looked at artillery. Just the tanks and the infantry are what I've pretty much looked at. And I think I've gotten pretty much everything there. Well, actually, there's Mark IV Merkavas that are not Mark IV-M Merkavas. There's a difference, so we're going to have to do another upgrade of that, too. Once everything's upgraded, I'll actually start pumping out units. But at this rate, honestly, I think we're going to get a new recon before I ever start pumping out these ones. So I'm just going to exclude this. It's ancient anyways, from 75. And we'll end up getting rid of those recons and just waiting until we can replace it with the new, way newer ones that I'm actively researching. Man, I just remembered that, like, this is all going on. If I just unpause, like, I could just see all this stuff happening. It even shows, like, the explosions that happen on a hex, even when there's no line of sight now, which is kind of cool, actually. I really like that. It helps there appear to be activity, even if I don't know what that activity is. I can very clearly tell from the border, but the explosions are a nice touch. Here's the stats since the start of the game, by the way, and holy crap, man. Russia's killed 225 units, lost 663, 327,000 men dead. Ukraine killed 746. Don't know where the extra like hundreds coming from, but that's a thing. 227 lost. Rojava got 26 kills before dying, losing quite a lot to Syria. Killed 165. Yep, lost 26. That adds up. Belarus has killed 5, lost 84, meaning Belarus is actually helping Russia via mutual defense. Belarus is involved in that war. That's where the rest of them come from. It's a bunch of Belarusians getting killed. The RSF is fighting Sudan and doing okay, but maybe not the best. Houthis getting more kills than they're losing while fighting 2 enemies, which is impressive. Houthi. Those are the terrorists, right? I'm pretty sure those are the terrorists in real life. Yeah, I mean, look at this guy. And then, like, these two have suits, and then, like, this guy doesn't. That's how you know. That's how you know. Well, damn, you fucking go. Kick ass, terrorists. That's what this playthrough's all about. We want to get as much controversy in here as possible, right? Gotta give something to argue about in the comments, I guess. I'd like to point out that Ukraine is expanding. See this, like, weird color here? That's land they've taken from Russia that belonged to Russia historically, like before this. They've not reclaimed stuff in the south, but in the north they're doing particularly well. Dude, I'm not even like looking at my money and look at it. It's just going up. Let me show you my finances right now. The expenses have gone way up, but the income's still holding, even while I'm building, even while I'm doing other things. We have a sustainable finance. So yeah, so 50,000 or above GDP per capita, that is sustainable for sure, and I'm very happy to hear it. Since money is going so well, I will go ahead and I'm actually going to go ahead build that air base I was talking about. I'm going to build it right here at Tel Aviv Yafo. What's the difference between that and Tel Aviv? Is it the same thing? I don't know, but there's a seaport here, bunch of other crap. Put an air base on the seaport, that'll generate enough of supply to max out that. That's our capital, is it not? No, it's Jerusalem. Okay, well, regardless, this is going to max out supply here 100% for sure, and then that supply is going to spread as that being our main supply hub here. Fine with that. And then you know what? I'm just going to get rid of this little airstrip because the airbase can house more anyway, and it's right fucking next to it, so let's save some money. We don't need as much stuff there. I'm not spending my money on getting rid of any more bonds because, I mean, look at this. Out of the 1 billion we're spending a day, only 4 million of that is going into interest. Bonds and debt in this game are not very dangerous. But I'll pay it off eventually. But I've been spending that money instead here. Let me show you. Just basically spending on America, getting all this stuff. We had like almost nothing. They just had line of sight in us. They still do. We'll get line of sight with them once we have finally a formal alliance. Because I'm trying to get either research cooperation or research sharing. One of those. They've made it way harder to get, it feels like. But these ratings have been going up. I'm supporting them every day. I'm occasionally throwing some extra money into them whenever they ask, just to get the next treaties in. And I'm going to try to enable us to get insane amounts of research here by just going for research cooperation with America, because realistically, that makes a lot of sense. But that is a nice full first episode. Inflation's at 2.2, so with my small amount of building, we are actually keeping that going up because we're such a tiny country. This is working very well. This will be a very playable country, and I'm very excited to see where this playthrough goes. So let me know what thoughts you guys have in the comments below. I can't wait to see some people on the other side of the world getting like freaking out about something I said or at something each other said. I don't know. This is gonna be very entertaining, I feel like. So hope to see you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you there.